Okay, folks, going into Game 3 on Antigua Shipyard between WhiteRa and IdrA, and it's looking at this point, if IdrA continues with this form, that this is going to be a clean sweep.
We talked about it. IdrA's been on, incredible form recently, and in different tournaments as well. Not just a single tournament. He's been riding a high for a while now after that IEM China win.
Definitely.
And he's coming into this tournament very strong. 3-1 versus Show, 2-0 currently versus WhiteRa.
Crack Street's back. Let's get it on.
The crack is back.
Yes, very, very much so. And I bring you EGIdrA. He is in the blue trunks playing Zerg to the east of this particular map, which is, of course, the Antigua Shipyard. Versus his opponent, Thermaltake Esports WhiteRa. He is in the red trunks playing Protoss to the west. And
this is most definitely a map for Forge Fast Expand again, so we should be seeing that out from WhiteRa. On the other hand, we talked about how IdrA should be or needs to be aggressive on this map, I feel. And especially the way that Stefano plays this map is an excellent example. He will go 45-50 drones. His third hatchery will be on the gold base, as it is relatively close to the kind of natural area of a Protoss player. And it's like a kind of a proxy hatchery where you can get units there a lot faster.
It's like a proxy hatchery that you mine from. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, especially with gold minerals in the front as well.
Oh, yes.
And then you can pile on the pressure, knock down these back rocks, and then put the pressure onto a Protoss player who usually would be taking a fast third base with minimal units and minimal gateway count.
We shall see what happens here. Will WhiteRa be able to deal with IdrA? I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I expect something crazy to happen one way or the other. The series has been fairly one-sided thus far in favor of IdrA, who's been playing so well. It's not to discount the skill of WhiteRa, but IdrA's looking almost untouchable at the moment. After that one slip-up against Show, his form has looked almost perfect. And that concerns me an awful lot here. We'll see how it goes. And we're about to find out what's coming here. It looks like it's going to be a Forge Fast Expand once again from WhiteRa.
Yeah, here's a bit of a mistake with a waypoint on the Nexus, but easily corrected. And where there is that forge going down, as mentioned. And 2 drones trying to get this spawning pool down, the hatchery down. As soon as that pylon goes down, immediately building that overlord so that he can continue with his build. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get gas, even though that is there. And just basically what it allows, even though the pylon is there, Lings will come out to eventually get it. But instead of an earlier hatchery, he can get double queens a lot faster from that main base instead.
Yep. It's always a bit of a pain as well for the Protoss player to replace the pylon earlier than he might think, and that's an interesting decision there from IdrA. Very interesting.
Yeah, so we are going to be seeing, well, he's going to be taking 3 bases relatively fast anyway, and the probe, is going to come up and scout that as well. And that's interesting for IdrA to do that instead of just waiting. And what is WhiteRa going to do? Is he going to try something a little bit funky here? I don't think he can really pull it off, especially with Lings in pursuit.
Yeah, I don't think so, honestly. It's not really going to happen. I have to wonder if this response by IdrA was a deliberate undercommittal to the presence of that pylon, and just thinking, you know what, I actually don't really need to worry all that much about that pylon right now because of the way that Antigua's set up. Taking the third, I was going to take it anyway. I might as well just grab it out of order, and I am confident that I can deal with any pressure that comes in from a Forge fast-expanding Protoss.
And the good thing for IdrA, he's actually got eyes on this probe now, and we'll be able to chase it away, making sure there are no other hidden pylons. And there is that 4-minute 30 third base gone down here for IdrA. And he will want to take gas kind of soon. Not quite yet, as he wants to power out with drones and an extra queen probably, but then he will get it to get speed and also to think about getting a +1 attack very, very shortly. And now there's the complete, well, not complete wall off, but a wall off here for WhiteRa. And he has taken double gases. I wonder if he will be going for that Stargate. Stargate in these positions would not be ideal simply because cross positions, distances between bases, void rate being slow and expensive, it wouldn't really work out too well.
Yeah, I mean, the creep obviously has not been joined yet because this national hasn't been taken, but it's not the longest distance between the two, let's be honest, especially once you get a queen over there. IdrA is just limping one over there eventually, a very slow
Seems like it's
crawl.
quite windy down there.
Yeah, it looks like it is. It does actually look like that when you think about it. It's like a queen's being blown backwards every time, but whatever the case, he'll be able to extend
fast,
that.
Wouldn't you?
There you go. It's being dealt with. But you were correct in the assumption that it would be a Stargate, but I have to wonder how effective that's going to be.
Yeah, IdrA's really smart on his timings as well, so he will be throwing down that evolution chamber around 7 minutes, 7:30, so make sure that he won't lose to any Void Rays, that he does have Spore Crawlers out there in time. WhiteRa, on the other hand, what he may do is not really focus on killing, and you can see there is the evolution chamber going down at 6:30, so even earlier than normal, IdrA just playing extra safe. But with the Stargate, he may be able to harass, and then follow it with a timing attack, depending on how successful the harassment is, may help out. But at the same time, the Stargate can act on a defensive purpose. You can have a Void Ray out to be defensive. You can also have Phoenixes to scout along with that harassment.
Yeah, exactly. If WhiteRa doesn't overcommit to the Stargate play and is simply using it to do a little bit of light harassment, of course use it defensively and, as you said, scout, then that's not too bad at all. He is getting his gateway counts out now. IdrA is moving in once again to get some scouting information. He's going to spot these two gateways. He will not see the Stargate unless, of course, WhiteRa chooses to reveal it by moving in a Phoenix to kill that Overlord. Doesn't need to do that. He's got a Stalker and a Sentry that can kill it before it gets anywhere near, so that's not too concerning. Roach Warren on the way out for IdrA as well, and the +1 weapon upgrade, certainly possible. We might see the same Roach Hydra composition that we saw in the previous game.
Yeah, he may. Well, there is the layer actually does go down, so that is a possible action for him to take. And actually, as soon as that Overlord goes down, did he see it? No, he did see the 4 gateways going down now. So IdrA will be cautious. He's at a decent drone count right now. Disisling did not scout the Stargate, but he's at a decent drone count. He's a comfortable 50 drones right now. Doesn't need to build that many more drones. He can build nothing but units if he wants to defend against a timing attack. IdrA is squeezing in more drones, though. He's squeezing in another 6.
Yeah, now I have to wonder if IdrA is thinking, is there a Stargate somewhere in this base? I don't know what's in the natural. And I'm looking at, look at the gateway timings. They're quite similar to last game. Look at the gateway numbers, also quite similar to last game. He's going to find out very shortly that there is indeed a Stargate. And I suppose it's very likely that we'll see a Hydra Den come down as soon as this lair finishes.
And here is that fast third coming down for WhiteRa at 9 minutes. And ideally, IdrA should be wanting to put pressure on here. And 4 Phoenixes, though, are going to harass. There are no Spore Crawlers. He did not anticipate Phoenixes to be out here, especially cross position. So the aggression from IdrA may not come because he has to invest in extra Queens, in extra Spore Crawlers.
Yeah, he's actually going a full 5 Spore Crawlers, which is quite the reaction to this Phoenix harassment here. He's going to take a second Queen. He should be able to take the third as long as he's got enough lift energy. This would be a really good start for WhiteRa's harassment. Picking off 3 Queens already and forcing 5 Spore Crawlers is exceptional. And what I'd like to see from WhiteRa there is not to overcommit to air units at this point and just start to really pump out those gateway units.
Yeah, IdrA's going to try to bust through, but with these force fields that should come out, yes, there they are.
Yeah,
he's going to be able to
perfectly placed, not a problem.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. And a cannon there as well. There's a cannon in the main base as well. Though he has to be careful because the Roaches can take that cannon down really easy. And then with the Zealot down, but
there's a Phoenixes coming to save the day. Half the Roaches are airborne, having a wonderful little view of their compadres getting slaughtered here. Does WhiteRa have the numbers? I would think that he does. He cleans this one up without any real problems whatsoever.
Yeah, there was a bit of a hiccup in IdrA's economy and production, to be honest. Because 3 Queens did go down, you can see that he's only building 4 drones right now. And that could have technically been 20 Roaches or 15 more Lings. But because those Queens went down, he couldn't lava inject. And there is that gold base taken by IdrA now. A Warp Prism is on the way for WhiteRa. And he's successfully got a 3rd base up, which is not so good for IdrA now. Because on 3 bases, WhiteRa's going to be able to play very defensive, and he's going to be able to just harass with Phoenixes and the Warp Prism, and then slowly take a 4th base, and from there on it could be lights out.
Yeah, it's a smart move by WhiteRa to force all of these Overlords back into the base as well. He can snipe off a few. There's actually not that many Spore Crawlers, funnily enough, and with good micro and control, WhiteRa shouldn't lose a single Phoenix, and he does not. Nicely done there. Is he going to go for another Queen and potentially sacrifice a thing for it? He might do it, and unfortunately the one that was lifting it got annihilated there by the Spore Crawler, but it's still not a bad trade. A lot of Queens continually picked off. There's only 1 Queen and 4 bases for IdrA, so that's a lot of injects that aren't going to happen.
And I don't know if that's a bit of a mistake here, but we have 2 robotics bays coming down for WhiteRa. We have
that's entirely standard for WhiteRa.
Okay, there it is. It does get cancelled on the 3rd base here, realizing his mistake. And here comes WhiteRa's trademark play. 4 Zealots within a Warp Prism, 4 more to be coming out as well into the main base of IdrA, and they could do so much damage. He is also teching up. 2 Colossus now. He has Thermal Lance on the way. A second robotics facility as well. So he will be churning out the Colossus.
Yeah, this is looking much, much better for WhiteRa than it has in previous games. Supply count is looking good. WhiteRa has a larger army, and he's even keeping up in terms of probe count. Yeah, the 4th base has been taken on the gold, so IdrA's going to start to mine a significant number of minerals. Here comes that Warp Prism right now. He only drops down a single Zealot, not willing to deploy there. Now 4 Zealots in there, meeting a little welcoming party of 13 Hydralisks. That didn't work out so well.
No, not at all, and WhiteRa loses a lot of value from that, though he can do it again in a later stage of the game. That's the great thing about that. And now the thing is, though, that IdrA knows it's there. He knows that it can come again, so he's going to be more defensive on that front. And he only moved those Spore Crawls really to defend against Phoenixes rather than the Warp Prism. But at the same time, the Warp Prism is being hunted down by Hydras. They don't quite have the range in that little corner, but WhiteRa will move it just in time.
They look really angry. They're just trying to smash their way through those rocks. I want it, and you can't have it. I'm sorry. Warp Prism is getting out of there.
And we now have a Spire on the way, that IdrA predicting Colossus. We also have Ventral Sacs too, so we may be seeing some drops in the main base of WhiteRa as well here from IdrA. The gateway count is climbing up as well for WhiteRa, and slowly but surely he will crawl towards that gold base in the center, and then he will be able to control the Xel'Nogaton, and that's not what IdrA wants.
Yeah, ROG Hydra composition, not ideal, especially since there's going to be 4 Colossus and extended Thermal Lance coming out. There's already +1, he's working on +2, and IdrA wants to try and break his way through those back rocks. That has easily been spotted there by WhiteRa, who's going to look to try and crush this. The Hydras are all the way back there. He just doesn't want to get them caught out of position. A quick lift right there is easily eliminated by IdrA, though WhiteRa is starting to reach supply cap.
And here comes the Warp Prism once again. There are 2 Spore Crawlers, though, remember, and there are no units inside IdrA's base right now. So 8 Zealots could tear down a lot, but it looks like the Roaches and Hydras are running back to defend against it.
You can hardly blame him. This is going to do a lot of damage to the mineral line if he's not careful. I wonder if WhiteRa will actually risk another Warp.
Oh,
I think he's being a bit careful. Oh, I think that Warp Prism's about to get picked off here. Yep, down it goes, and those Zealots are stranded. However, in the meantime, WhiteRa's getting really aggressive to secure the middle, has supply blocked IdrA, and is forcing his way through the center. That gold base looking really vulnerable.
And 8 Corruptors are about to come out, but that is not enough versus 4 Colossus, Phoenixes, and these Stalkers as well. They will not take the Colossus down fast enough, and IdrA could be in trouble here. He's losing his 4th base, and he needs to keep a 4th base up and running for the gas income.
Yeah, and if WhiteRa is able to take that, that's going down. There's not even a question about that, I don't think. IdrA wants to try and crush the force in the middle. He leaves the hatchery. Surely a few hits would do that, but right now he's just going to get into the mix against this massive force of Gateway units. Roach Hydra versus a Colossus and Gateway. 2 Colossi have already fallen. A 3rd is about to go down. The Stalker count is whittling rapidly, but another Colossus coming in for the flank. Stalkers coming in from the side as well. IdrA is surrounded from all sides, and slowly WhiteRa crushing this force here in the center, and then can leisurely just stroll in there and finish off the hatchery. Down they go. The Corruptor's getting slaughtered as well, and WhiteRa holds the center for the moment, but he's going to need more reinforcements to come in because Roaches are streaming in from the main.
Oh, if only